Good morning, evening, afternoon, I'm tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we're playing Echoes, the Lucid9 Fangame. Previously, we got to the bottom of the whole brain dead stabbing in the face thing. So we basically become a zombie. Like, our body is dead, but the robots are making it move. I chose to keep that function. I feel like it's going to come in handy at some point. And then now we're having this conversation between the mayor and Kosuke about the merit council and this dome thing and defense and stuff. And that's where we left off. Alright, let's continue. Tanaka, however, objects to this sentiment. She believes further action is required to ward off any threats to the meritocracy, be they inside or outside of our borders. Tanaka is inexperienced. By giving her full control over the military, you could waste trillions in redundant fortifications. She was made Minister of Defense for a reason, Saito. If she believes that we are at risk, we very well may be. I'm prepared to support her stance in this matter. And that stance includes allowing DCIS to classify the entire structure. DCIS is still a Limnesgate subsidiary, Saito. It's perfectly acceptable to me if they want to restrict access to our corporation's property. If this virus is spreading as fast as you claim, our citizens will need to know what to expect when it infects them. The Prominence is the only structure with enough bandwidth to get the message to all of them in time. Treatment is not going to be instantaneous for those elected to receive it. The rest will have to come to terms with the knowledge that they may lose their lives. You sound so upset about this. I know maybe the voice isn't helping. I know I don't like Kosuke, but I feel like the mayor is the worst. When the economy slows due to the fear and those who refuse to leave their homes, our information technology infrastructure needs to be capable of satisfying Isamu's rising demands. It's the only way we can prevent another recession. And you said it yourself, these people need hope. More than hope, in fact. They need something to distract them from reality. Sure. What lies ahead of us will try Isamu's resolve and push its people to the fullest extent of their courage. In order to bolster that courage, we must open every channel of communication we have. I've already ordered industrial electronics, consumer technologies, and applied digital sciences to pool their resources and assist with the Prominence's construction. In 10 days, the entire city will have access to an additional 750 million terabits. I always say bytes. I don't know what the actual proper technological term is. But I feel like, yeah, bytes. Terabytes, right? Right? Yeah? I need to Google that later. It's gonna drive me insane. Per second accessible form, any device will with a wireless network controller. DCIS has agreed to declassify and distribute some of the information concerning this virus. I don't know how she did it, but Hayata convinced one of their agents to vouch for her. I know you have your doubts about them, Saito, but they're here to keep Isamu safe. If their agenda placed them at odds with the rest of Lemni's Gate, they would have ceased to exist long ago. They're going to get the word out by any means available. I have faith in that. And what if they betray that faith? That would be disappointing. But I'm not in any position to stop them. Oh? You don't have the power to do that? Or are they too powerful? They said I have 7 months? What? The mayor is dying? Is this of a different illness? They said I had 7 months, Saito. That's only if my ligaments don't turn to bone before I can get to the clinic. That's only because you're not letting us cure you. I know, Saito. And you're a good man for trying to help me. However, the people need a cure far more than I do. Focusing your attention on that is the only way you can get one to them as soon as possible. The people also need a leader. Yeah, I mean, like, what's going to happen if the mayor dies? Is there a plan for that? Sorry, hearing me open something to drink in the background. But is there a plan for this? Is there, like, a, vice mayor? I don't know what you call that. Are they going to vote for it? Or is it going to be a free-for-all? Seems a bit unstable. A leader? I'm afraid the time for me to lead has passed, Saito. I can't raise my voice to stop the Lemnis Gate board from endlessly contemplating new business ventures. The party requires exhaustive convincing to support even minor resolution. And the Merit Council sees me as a rambling old man who's run out of jobs to create. Look at District 6, Saito. What makes you think I can lead Isamu when half the nation no longer believes in me? I can't inspire confidence anymore. But you have someone who can. Rui for mayor. And in a few days, everyone in Isamu is going to believe in her. You have my word. Okay. I get to be a superhero. Lucid Cell. I just received a message from the chairman. To say he's impressed by what you've accomplished today would be an understatement. You have all done one hell of a thing. 2 hells if you count the raiding party. The 8 of you ate for lunch. Your way to district what? On your what the raiding party? If you count the raiding party, the 8 of you ate for lunch on your way to District 6. Oh, okay. She's being witty. Thanks to you, it's more obvious than ever to the city that way forward can hold its own in a fight. And if our mystery assailants ever get their hands on another tank, they'll think twice before deciding to mess with us again. Yes, I can't imagine them getting another tank anytime soon. I feel like people will be watching out for that now. I still don't know who Lucid9 is. Wait, was Lucid9 like the one with the spikes? He had a name, didn't he? Oh no. We ever find out who attacked us, Commander? I almost said Combine. The commander turns to me. 8 and 9 had the immense misfortune of having to deal with the agent DCIS sent to meet with us in 6. In addition to refusing to help us fend off the novel influenza, this agent thought it would be a good idea to seize and investigate the footage that had been recorded on 9's armor camera. If the rest of you are still wondering why I asked you to turn over your data cards, this was the reason. Limnisgate was yet again attempting to assert its dominance over us. They didn't seem too concerned about backups, ma'am. Kind of a crappy course of action if their goal was to halt the spread of dangerous information. There's the possibility. There's 3 possibilities here, Operative. DCIS could already have our backups, could have no idea where they are, and just not give a rat's, or could have just decided that intimidating us with threats and posturing is safer than trying to get their hands on them. We may live in this glass house, but DCIS practically owns it. They throw too many stones, and their entire investment gets totaled. Be that as it may, the commander sets a data chip on the tablet. It's Rui's thought now. It's narrator time. The commander sets a data chip on the tablet in front of her, grinning from ear to ear. We still managed to snag a copy of the important data for ourselves. You know what? Way to go, Emmy. I know I said screw Emmy the last episode. It's only because she's too dedicated to way forward. I appreciate that she's very honest with me. Like, at first I just didn't trust her. But I feel like at least she's honest with me, and she actually does seem to care somewhat. But I wonder if, like, Way Forward was doing something really, really bad, if she would, like, step in to stop it, or if she would take me out for it. Like, I feel like I could maybe get Hisao on my side, but I feel like Emmy's too dedicated. But you know this makes me love that little thing. Her, like, going against DCIS, like, the super important people. Also, that's something that could definitely get her in trouble. Behind their backs. for us. It does make her seem a little bit better. I wonder if I can hang out with Emmy. It'd be cool if I could. Maybe I would support her more as a character. The lights begin to dim as she inserts the chip into the side of the table, activating a gargantuan screen that sits mounted to the far wall of the briefing room. Operatives, once this meeting adjourns, this footage is going straight in the vault for encryption and processing. So, if you're as hungry for data as I was a couple days ago, I advise paying attention. There are powers in Isamu that the state would rather keep under wraps. And what you're about to see is quite possibly the most significant intel the division has ever been given on them. Take a look. I don't remember who I was doing for Lucid 3. This doesn't make sense, Commander. Terrorists? I thought we all thought it was terrorists. DCIS monitors every network communication and radio transmission in Isamu. They should have been able to intervene before Black Star's security cameras were disrupted. What about crossing the border into the city? They may have been able to get away with it if their planning phase took place outside the security grid and detection range. So you're saying they smuggled themselves into the city and somehow still managed to pick up some weapons and equipment on their way here? It's not as unlikely as it sounds, 3. And especially people are on their side. I mean, if people are like, yeah, we should uprise, then they may be willing to help the cause. As many soldiers as the meritocracy has guarding it, the border is still a few hundred kilometers long. I feel like I should be saying kilometers. That's a caramel thing, I believe. And I go between the two. It's going to have some vulnerabilities in it. And that's assuming District 7's terrain and ecology are managed with a deft hand. As for the equipment, your guess is as good as mine. But if our working hypothesis is accurate, and they were behind the attacks on us, the firepower they deployed today implies that they weren't working alone. Based on what we know, the ILF is at odds with the meritocracy because they object to some of its more extreme policies. Without anyone in Isamu to sympathize with their cause, I doubt they would have gotten far, much less destroyed any facilities. Given that they seem to hate KCOM and Limnus Gate already, we'll need to remain vigilant in case they decide to view our partnership as a declaration of war. The Birdsong Collective seems to be considerably less violent, preferring cyber attacks and informational warfare over acts of terror. At the moment, they don't seem to object to the idea of working with us, but our alliance with Kazuhaya Combine might change their minds. The defectors 8 and 9 encountered today proved that while a majority of the Bird-Sound Collective may not try to engage KCOM directly, they're not above working with people who will. What that means for us remains to be seen, with Kazuhaya Combines almost certainly wants them dead. If the collective starts seeing us as an accomplice to some of KCOM's more questionable actions, we may end up having to face an enemy with technology decades ahead of our own. In addition to beefing up our firewalls, I'll do what I can to make this cell's equipment and weapons more resilient to microcryptor attacks. If they get so much as a chance to rewire us from the inside, it's going to be a nightmare for everyone involved. And on that note, that pretty brings us up to speed on everything. I apologize for being the bearer of bad news, operatives. Given the stakes we're facing, I doubt hearing this much at once is going to be good for anyone's mental health. I wish I could tell you where to go from here, but if I know the board, they'd rather decide that on their own. In the meantime, I'm giving each of you access to the situation tracker, which will show you a general overview of the Novel 40 outbreak in Isamu. Novel 40 cure progress. Research 200. Resources 120. Funding 120. Serum doses produced per week. Okay, serum doses required per dose per week. So we're not even close. Serum efficiency. Alright, serum demand met. So not even one. Confirmed novel 40 cases worldwide, 0. Okay. Confirmed novel 40 fatalities worldwide, 0. Unaffected population worldwide. Okay, that's a pretty good number so far, but that's going to change real soon. Confirmed novel cases in Isamu, 127. Confirmed novel 40 fatalities in Isamu, 0 so far. Unaffected population. Alright, I feel like that's also going to change soon. Well, we can know for sure are the numbers of confirmed cases and fatalities. The situation tracker will give you sorry people outside, will give you a 3-field estimate on how prepared we are to resist a worldwide pandemic, courtesy of the Department of Epidemiology. Our preparedness in each field is expressed on a scale of 0 to 1,000. And count the zeros. A score of 250 in all categories means that there's a 50% chance that we'll develop a working cure within the next 4 years. 4 years! Wow, okay. A score of 500 in all categories means that we'll have the same chance of developing one in 2, okay, 2 years still not great, but definitely better. In the thousands across the board would mean that we have a 50% chance of developing that cure by the end of the year. As it suggests, the resources score provides an estimate on how prepared we are to mass produce immune serum through the employment of raw materials, manpower, and specifically configured factories. Unfortunately, we can't rely on immune serum forever as a method of keeping novel 40 from compromising Isamu's population. If we want to improve our treatment methods and hopefully develop a cure, we'll need thousands of researchers hell-bent on getting to the bottom of this pathogen. Until then, the relative strength of our known scientific resources dedicated to... Okay, making sure I didn't skip anything. Dedicated to this virus will be represented by the research score. Finally, while Wave Forward has a lot of money to spare, we're going to need some financial assistance when Novel 40 decides to go nationwide, and far more if it turns out we're dealing with a global pandemic. Until then, the amount of dedicated capital and liquid assets available to the cure effort will be represented by the funding score. So far, 127 people in Isamu have been infected, and that number continues to rise with every hour. Fortunately, we're prepared for this, and if the rest of Isamu isn't, they damn well going to be once this virus crosses into nicer parts of town. Earlier today, this was all we had. However, as a result of your combined efforts, Kazahaya Combine has already set aside some of their factories, scientists, and capital to assist us with developing a cure for this virus. I don't know what our chairman has planned, but I do know this: if we can strike a good series of deals with the meritocracy and the other trifect corporations, they'll no doubt realize that working with us is not just a service to Isamu, it's an opportunity for them. Yeah, maybe people will think that they're less of assholes, you know. I mean, there still will be, but maybe slightly less so. And if they don't, well, let's just hope they change their minds when they have to reap their share of the whirlwind. Any questions? Alright then. Operatives, if you'd like to take another look at the data, you can access the situation tracker, the briefing room, or the biolab. Until then, meeting adjourned. Godspeed, operatives. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Also, my thingy has changed. Your current objectives has changed. Okay. Let's look at it. Equipment. Objectives. Placeholder assignment. And now analyze blood samples. Oh yeah, I remember that. Cool. Commander Nakamura wants to speak to you. in her office at 16:30, ma'am. Well, we'll see what Amy wants to talk to us about. I'm glad I'm getting to spend more time with Amy. Maybe my opinion will change as I spend more time with her. But we'll see. And hopefully the mic sounds a lot better. I'm using a new mic today that I just got. So yay. We'll see what Amy wants to talk to us about in the next episode. Bye.